Okay, so this is issue 28 of Conan. Um, not too bad. Turns out the ending is not what I expected, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so let's go on exactly what happened. So there's a little bit here about how the rebellion is grown because everyone was kind of upset with the regime anyway, and but all talked about it in hushed tones. But nobody wanted to do anything at all. So when Conan actually started telling the truth and saying, "Okay, you're basically being dominated by the king and not allowed to do what you want to do," that's when the rebellion started up. So we see Conan going through various battles, and some of his compatriots, the dukes or whatever, are there. Some of them have joined him, some of them haven't joined him at the moment. And the entire thing is they're trying to get the dukes to kind of sign up and actually commit to taking away from the king from the kingdom. And everyone's a bit everyone's kind of like all the ones that join. It's like, oh, I'll do it because then I can be king. I can be king. And they make a few deals over the course of the next few days or so, before they the continue their assaults. They manage to fight back against the ones that are kind of still holding off, until they are last to attack, which is Tarantia, which is where the king was originally. So they manage to bust the doors through there. This guy turns up, who is one of the Black Dragon Guard or Black Dragon Knights, and he is knocked off his horse and begs for his life. And Conan says, "Okay, yep, off you go, flee." They break into the royal vault or whatever it is, which is kind of using a battering ram, and there's dark magic going on in there, which is why the king obviously looks so crazy when he first saw him in that first issue. I'll say I thought it was future Conan. It wasn't. It was just some mad cultist. Anyway, it turns out it's Blackstone magic, and he manages to dominate everybody in the room. Kind of like I assume he's either feeding off them or kind of like draining their energy, but he basically grounds everybody on the that's with Conan, and Conan manages to crawl up the stairs, grab hold of him, choke the life out of him, and he's gone. The crown rolls down the stairs between the four remaining councillors, and they're all kind of like, "Oh, who's going to pick it up? Who's going to be the next king?" And it's like, "Oh, Conan comes in, and Conan picks it up, and Conan is going to be king." And it wasn't until now I realised that this is the beginning of King Conan arc. Because I did not know that was a thing. I knew that I vaguely remembered the Aquilonia as a thing tied to King Conan, but just for some reason in my head did not tie that together. Um, one of the cool things being it, which is probably the most interesting thing, there's a little bit here about what the actual story entailed, and apparently there's 3 Conan stories written by Howard that deal with King Conan, and they're each in different periods of time. So they've got like it's just after he's become king, apparently rebellion when he is ousted, and another one later on. There apparently was going to be a fourth one that was talked about that was going to be King Conan abdicating from the throne and allowing someone else to take over, whether it was his son, I don't know. Um, but apparently no one had actually written the story of how Conan actually became king. They was kind of obviously apparently some of the Duke characters in this story are referenced, um, and the actual attack on kind of the domination of the castles and stuff kind of stuff by Conan hadn't been touched upon, apart from apparently Savage Sword of Conan did it in 48 to 52, issue 48-52. But apparently there was some weird supernatural elements in there, like satyrs and other stuff in it that people said, well, that's strange. Where did they come from? Kind of thing. So this is kind of a low magic-y kind of version of it, rather than a kind of like. But that's not being funny. That's kind of Marvel. I mean, often a little bit of tangent here, but I remember the RoboCop comic when it came out. It's like, oh, you could do a really cool, hard-hitting RoboCop. No, they were just kind of like fighting, kind of like costume villains and all this kind of stuff. It was really weird. So Marvel kind of do that kind of thing. They inject a little bit of extra Marvelness into their Conan stories sometimes. So maybe that was just a little bit too far for some of the kind of like the devotees. But all in all, yeah, this is a pretty decent story. Again, I didn't quite grasp exactly what the outcome was going to be. Um, and then now this has kind of been committed to paper, and at least now there's kind of like at least a version of how Conan became king. And obviously, if Titan continue this storyline, this is gonna be obviously be the way it happens in at least in their continuity. So, oh no, not too bad at all. So that's it really. That's sort of pretty much what to say. I was gonna say for some weird reason, I think the Conan 29, which I think has only got like a 2 week delay. So I don't know if there was a delay for one of the other Conan books and they're catching up, or this was delayed. I'm not too sure, but there's definitely some. I swear they've solicited Conan for like 2 week in 2 weeks time, which is really really odd. So we'll see if that shows up or not. So anyway, so yeah, that is definitely now all I need to ramble about. So thanks for listening, and hopefully I will see you on another video very very soon. Bye bye.